Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Friday, January 13th, 2017. The title of this article is Donald Trump's Medical Delusions. So let's just, from Dr. Paul Krugman's article, the New York Times out of the same day. And I applaud Dr. Krugman for continually to hammer away that Mr. Minority is uniquely unqualified to be president of the United States, and James Comey, the FBI director, was very instrumental in putting him in there. He went against Department of Justice policy when he announced 10 days before the election that he was going to look at Hillary's emails. And again, this needs to be reinforced because it switched the votes right in the right states. But Mr. Minority is president, so we have to move on. But we need to continue to reinforce uniquely unqualified. And he got a lot of help to get in there at that last time. And I wanted to say one other thing. Mr. Comey was in front of a Senate hearing. Agnes King, he's an independent from Maine, was speaking to him, talking about the Russian hacking, and Comey basically said that it's the FBI policy that we don't publicly talk about what we're investigating. And Senator King basically said, that seems awfully ironic, considering that you opened your fat effing mouth in the late October on something that the Department of Justice had specifically said that types of things should not be publicized in the waning days of an election cycle. So let's keep moving on. So Mr. Minority came out the other day at his press conference and basically indicated that he wanted to repeal and replace Obamacare and basically replace it in the same day with far lower and less deductibles. And this is completely delusional, because what is absolutely going on is that, number one, the Republicans have been pulling this con job for the last 7 years. Repeal. They never remotely close had any type of replacement for it. They would basically say, we have an outline, we have a concept, we have an idea, we have Paul Ryan, the blue-eyed Beelzebub, has basically been saying we have lots of ideas. But in essence and in reality, they have absolutely nothing that can replace Obamacare and still offer the same benefits that Obamacare offers. And the big reason is Obamacare is complicated. If you do something in one area, it affects another area. And all of the things that the Republicans have been saying about it is basically, it sucks, it stinks, it's death panels, it's going to drown under its own weight, and none of that has even happened. More people signed up for Obamacare in December, I believe, than had ever done before. There are up to 20-some million people that have been insured by it. I believe up to 10 of those are either in addition to or part of that went over to Medicaid. So again, it's very complicated. You can't break it up all at one time. And we also know through voting patterns that possibly up to 5 million people, mostly white people, in red states voted for Trump. And remember, Trump famously said that he would not take their health care away. He would make it better for them, that they needed to be protected. They believed Mr. Minority. And now he's saying it's going to be better, but there is absolutely nothing that has been shown out that it could even come remotely close to being better, because the Republicans have shown nothing about that at all. So again, when he said repeal and replace in the same day, what that basically meant was, and he said we'd send it down, is that his administration would come up with a solution. The House and Senate would vote it down, in one day, let's say in a couple weeks. And then that same day, the replacement would come in from Donald Trump, and they'd vote on it immediately and pass it, and everything would be hunky-dory. And that's not how it is, because they're going to have to look at it, and they're going to have to slice it up. The Republicans are very disjointed on this. They're not in agreement on a lot of things on this. Remember, there's a tax on rich people that's in the Obamacare thing. And from a technical standpoint, I think it was said that 400 families would get a $7 million tax cut per year if Obamacare was repealed and not put back in the replacement. And of course, the Republicans never want to increase taxes. So if they repeal it, will they ever even come remotely close to paying to replace it by continuing that assessment on the wealthy? That's 4 million times, 7 million, 400 families times 7 million, 2.8 billion per year, 28 billion over 10 years. That's a little bit of a hunk of change, and that will help save lives and help up to about 30 million people be covered under Obamacare. And they have absolutely no way that they can do that if they take that assessment out of there. So, and again, the Affordable Care Act is doing exceptionally well. And all of this stuff that's coming from the Republicans and is coming from Mr. Minority is delusional. And Mr. Minority has shown an incredible contempt for how things actually worked and what policy really entails and how delicate it is. And yes, there is an incredible amount of minutia that has to go on in this shit, because it's got to be to the letter, to the T, to the comma, to the hyphen, to whatever. 100% agreed upon that, yes, this is what it says, this is what it means to me, and this is what it means to you, and we're both in agreement on what it means. And that's not going to happen with Mr. Minority. This is just not going to happen. And of course, Mr. Minority is showing again and again, that he's part of that famous firing squad where it's, fire, ready, aim, where, let's just say, he is always wrong, but never in doubt. And of course, the temper tantrums that he showed this morning on his Twitter feed, going back, criticizing Hillary, shows he can't get over any type of criticism. It's going to get much worse when he comes out there. Things aren't going to go nearly as smoothly as he thinks he is. There's Russia, China, and other places will be testing him, and we'll see how it goes. But when you're this delusional, this close to being president, what will really happen when you get into office? And again, going back to Dr. Krugman's main point, we need to continue to resist and to continue to reinforce how uniquely unqualified he is, and how James Comey, the director of the FBI, way overstepped his bounds in bringing that up, which showed to be absolutely nothing, 10 days before the election.